colonialism, free Palestine, genocide, all big terms that if you ask the people in these encampments, who primarily aren't even students of the colleges that they've encamped on, don't even have a clue what they mean. If Spain had its way, it would say that there's a two-state today. Sounds pretty much like colonialism, if you ask me. Hey, everybody, I'm Stuart Brisgell. That's David Solomon, who looks to be pretty white today. And this is a podcast that holds back on nothing in a whole multitude of topics, rarely without ever holding a thing back. That's why David's nodding his head. It's raw, unfiltered dialogue that serves as an outlet to voice opinion, share ideas, experiences from every corner of life. We dive into current events, pop culture, politics, and quirks of existence. Like people that don't know the definition, like Genocide Joe. Anyways, as we take bigger issues and frustrations that are tackling the world today, it's all covered under the rant umbrella. Get comfortable, enjoy as we get started. David, you didn't like the way I started. I saw you nodding your head in disgust because I mentioned Genocide Joe.
No.
You know the funny thing is, Genocide Joe really means Afghanistan, where the massacre and murder. Or how about Genocide Joe that allowed for hundreds of thousands of people to die in Somalia? How about Genocide Joe that refused to vote in Syria, where Assad massacred millions of his own people? How about Genocide Joe? Because he allows the Uyghurs to be massacred in China on a daily basis, even today. How about Genocide Joe, who allows millions of Americans to die because of the overflowing fentanyl epidemic in the United States? How about Genocide Joe, who can't remember what was the last time someone called him Genocide Joe? But it's not about Genocide Joe, David. What is it about?
No, but you see, the word that's just what you just did is a perfect example of throwing out words without real meaning. And I mean, we got two things that we were talking about here. And to me, it's all about irony. It all goes back to irony. What works in this camp won't work in this camp. And when you talk about the so-called Palestinian movement, and I'm saying, is this the hill they want to die on? And I've asked this question in a previous rant. Is this the hill that all these students are going to die on? That they're going to put their careers in jeopardy? That they're willing to demonstrate with such vitriol and with such discrimination? This is the hill that they're going to fall on. Okay, so now it's time for me to call your bluff. Okay, because you're sitting here and you're telling me that you want to use the words. Okay, let's talk about colonial powers. So all of a sudden, right now, the United Nations is set to vote today to back Palestinian bid for membership. Now, there is, where's the vote going to be? Well, the vote is going to be run by the Arab Muslim bloc and other blocs that hate Israel. That's a colonial move to force one country who has no real power at this point in the United Nations to push the so-called Palestine into the United Nations. There's an irony for you. Let's support that. Okay? From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. You're talking about, simply put, and we just lost Stuart's camera there. We have these people, this concept of genocide, and they're saying that Israel is a genocidal state, that Israel has committed genocide, the most heinous of crimes, and the most heinous of actions. And I'm like, they must be really, really bad at it, because in the statistics, Stuart, it's an amazing statistic that I'm going to pull up. I got to find it now that I just remembered it. Is, hey, Israel, what population in Gaza has grown? It's the fourth largest growth of a population in the world since 1950. Since 1950, the populations of Qatar has grown 11,000%, UAE 10,000%, Jordan 1,600%, Gaza Strip 1,034% from 1950 to today. So if this is a genocide, and this is the fourth largest population increase in the Middle East, you're scratching
Yeah,
your
you
head
know,
going,
if it's a genocide, why doesn't Egypt open its borders? Why doesn't Jordan open its borders?
no, you're straying.
I'm
It's the
straight.
accusation. It's the accusation. Israel's committing genocide. Well, if Israel's committing genocide, then there's a systemic annihilation of a people, and I'm trying to figure out where is it. Okay, when they throw out that, that when they sit there and they go, no, we don't mean, when these people stand there chanting, Stuart, and they don't mean, right, this stuff. They don't mean that they want to annihilate Israel. They don't know. You're in a university, people. Where's your education coming from? TikTok? So the irony here is that you're spewing whatever you think is right again. You don't care what it means, and it's okay. Israel's an apartheid state. Israel just statements thrown like crazy. The problem, Stuart, is it's really simple. Who's denying these accusations? Right-wing conservatives. It's not the left. The left has decided that this is a great mantra. The irony here is that, you want a two-state solution. You want peace in the Middle East. Because this is what, Stuart, can you name me a president since 1967 has not wanted to, be the Nobel Peace Prize winning president? Hillary Clinton. Hillary, our favorite Hillary, right? She herself called out these students and said, you don't even know your own history. My husband, Bill, right? Remember Bill Clinton? She commented how her husband was on the verge of a peace treaty, a two-state solution. And she said because Arafat was afraid for his life because he saw that Anwar Sadat was assassinated and many attempts on the Jordanian king's life, that he refused to do it. Not 1,000% true, but let's go with that statement. So to save his own ass, he started an intifada. So you've got people who are literally telling you, you're wrong. But we're going to push this anyways. The same way we're accusing Israel of doing things, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to commit genocide by killing 1,400 Jews and Israelis. Okay, we're going to commit, apartheid by eliminating the rights of anybody who's there. They're going to be doing they're going to be a colonial power and seize territory and decide. The irony is thick. And all along the way, you've got Muppet. You call him Genocide Joe. I call him Muppet Joe.
Well, I called him Jim Henson puppet last episode, Dave. I own that cliche. Sorry, it's Puppet Joe, and it's not Papa Joe. It's Puppet Joe.
Well,
And David, you're right, but it seems a constant behavioral pattern of the left to say things that they're doing, but say, no, it wasn't me. It was him. It was him. It was this guy right over there. This guy. Yeah, he did it. It wasn't me. That's exactly what they do. It's an ongoing story, and it works because
it's actually not working as much as they think it is. And if you listen right now, you still, listen, this whole thing about going to Rafah right now, what Muppet Joe is doing right now, by denying, Israel, a shipment of arms to Israel, is a colonial power move. There you go. You want to talk about a colonial power? That's the colonial power.
I gotta.
Whoa. Let me get my thought through because you're not going to like it. But that is one state deciding for another state their fate. That's a colonial power. And right now, if what you're telling Israel is, we don't agree with you, therefore we're not going to do this, and therefore you're going to do it my way. So here's the thing right now. Israel has said, we're going to fight with fingernails if we have to. There's no way they're going to let that happen. But what does the left do? What does the left jump on? Again, Israel's genocidal, the 30,000+ deaths, that the majority are children. I mean, the lies and the lies and the lies that they're spinning. And all Joe Biden is going, I'm going to lose Michigan, and I'm going to lose Michigan, I'm going to lose Michigan, I'm going to lose Michigan. Every one of them. You talked about Spain before. Why is Spain supporting it? There are tons of Muslims in their country. They're petrified. Why would the UK go for it? France, Belgium, and all these other countries? Because they're invaded with these hateful Muslims and Arabs that they've let in. And now, to save their ass, they got to force Israel, a colonial move, to force Israel into something that is endangering them to cover their ass. Colonial move, Stuart. How ironic is that?
Like I said before you told me, let me get my thought out. The left has been running a strategy for a very long time. Russia collusion. Well, it's kind of like Biden collusion. Kind of like, oh, Ukrainian. Oh, it's actually Biden. You know, Stormy Daniels, I make you bet Biden got a piece of that too. I really, truly believe that there seems to be this constant, I did it, but I might as well just say you did it. Maybe I'll get away with it. Because it seems to be working a little bit, David, because they keep going back to the same old nonsense.
It's working less and less, because right now what you're seeing again. It's incredible how they think that this is working, and the only people who's it working with? The media is loving it. We know that, because they need to keep these left-wing politicians in power. But is it working with the population?
Yeah,
Stuart,
but
it's
you got like John Federer, who's actually calling out his own party. You
yeah.
know, I was actually, I'm not a John Federer fan. I don't know if you are, David. You know, the guy's a complete, it's unfortunate. His health isn't well. I don't wish him ill, but he's not well. But even that guy who's got a squirrely ass brain, he can't even stop himself from saying, this is fucked up, guys. It's amazing. It's utterly amazing. You know what? I think next week, David, I'm going to start calling little Debbie Wasserstrom Schultz's office, and I want to see what she's another congresswoman.
Stuart, you know what? Stuart, you've got a love affair with that woman since we started this rant. And as I tell people here in Montreal, there's a certain community that's not the center of the universe. In Florida, my friend is not the center of the universe. One person, she's not, whatever. But you know what you find, Stuart, is you have a trend amongst that party. If Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the rest of the Jewish
how about Chucky?
Of all of our Democratic colleagues in this House and the Senate would stand up to the president and say, you're throwing my people under the bus. You've done nothing. You are, I don't want to say you're committed genocide, but you're a hypocritic president, So, but it comes back to this. When it comes to Israel, there's a two-standard solution. That's what it is. It's a double standard solution. It's not a two-state, it's a double standard. It's double standard in that you have one rule for the Palestinians and you're going to have one rule for Israel. And the rest of the world will play by that rule. It doesn't matter. To think about it, what message are you sending? Go massacre 1,400 people and we'll give you a state. Bravo. That's a wonderful solution. Not come to the table and negotiate. Because just to declare a two-state solution, Stuart, and I said this in a previous rant, so tell me, you in Spain decided that there should be a Palestinian state? Okay. What about aerial rights, water rights, electrical rights, borders, this? You're just going to throw it up in the air and whatever happens, happens? Man, in Spain, there is a separatist movement in there, and I got to tell you something. I'd love to see them do what's going on now with the Palestinians. Let it happen in Spain, and then let me see how the Spanish prime minister changes his mind.
David, and that's a wrap for today's episode. A huge thanks for lending us your ears, your eyes, and your nose, because I know you smell the shit. And it's a real pleasure sharing our thoughts and discussions with you. And this time, it means the world to us to have another insightful, more engaging discussion. Remember, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Stay connected on social media. We've got lots of channels. And if you have any thoughts or questions or anything you're passionate about, PM us. Your input's invaluable, whether you agree or disagree. Believe it or not everyone agrees with David. Anyways, thanks for joining us, and until next time, our next rendezvous, keep the